Hello,
Hello,
I'm 20 years old.
Okay. I think we've spoken before, probably a number of times.
Yes.
Do you believe in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that, Yomer?
Yes.
And which god is that?
It's a trickster god. It's someone that I think is impersonating the God of the Bible.
What do you mean impersonating the god of the Bible?
Impersonating, I guess that is a strong word. Is maybe not exactly impersonating, but kind of maybe acting as, like, setting an avatar, Jesus Christ, and trying to make it appear as if he's this all-good God. He's trying to act like he's the all-good God of the Bible, and all-loving, or whatever. So he's pretty much, and to sum it up, it's like he's taking credit for the Bible, for the whole Bible, for being the author.
Really, the author would be the prophets, the quote
unquote. They've just wrote it up over time and passed it on. Really, he would have something to do with the Bible, but not as an author, just as a guide. Anyways,
Why are you accusing him of being a trickster god posing as the god of the Bible?
Yes. So it's because that there is a big flaw with the Bible, and that is the claim of agape love.
And that's the big flaw of the Bible is the claim of agape love.
Yes. A philosophical problem with that is that it's entailed with unconditional love. And unconditional love is impossible. If you have a mind, it's not possible for you to unconditionally love.
What is love?
Love is choosing to care for someone.
And you choose to do that regardless of circumstance or condition.
You can do it regardless of circumstance, but you can't do that regardless of condition. No. Why? So the reason why you can't do that is when you care about someone, there's a reason behind it. I care about my brother because we're in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if that relationship was gone, would I care for my brother? No. I have an example if you'd like to hear the example.
I'm not sure. State that one more time, you said.
So I love my brother because I'm in a relationship with him. Mm-hmm. A brother-like relationship. So if that was gone, would I love my brother? No.
So the condition of your relationship is required for your love, is what you're saying.
Yeah, relationship and some sort of natural bond, I would say. Or, sorry, or not and.
What do you mean by natural bond?
Like my mother, because she's my mother, I respect her. And I choose to care for her, so. But I mean that will only go so far though. Because if my mother and my brother want to be nemesis like towards me, then that natural bond is gone. But so I think everything in our life, every choice we make is conditional. Um, and so I rule out unconditional love simply because every choice we make is motivated by something.
You rule it out because everything is motivated by something. And since the Bible
Every choice.
claims that, then the God cannot possibly do that. So you say he's an imposter.
Yeah, pretty much, yes.
Really quick, I'm going to speak past you, but it's not to be rude, obviously. I need to say thank you to Artificial Red for helping with our first goal. Appreciate you, Artificial Red. Thank you so much, and welcome in everybody who is just joining us. We are just getting started, and we are not here to debate or argue, just to see if you can question your beliefs. Yomer, you believe the God of the Bible exists? Is that what you're ultimately saying? Is that the God of the Bible exists, but that it can't provide unconditional love, so therefore it must be an imposter?
Yep.
Why do you assume that this God even exists?
So we went over the three evidence. I'll do it again though. So the first piece of evidence, life comes from life, not
Life
non-life.
comes from life, so therefore, I'm sorry, but even if you were to somehow conclude that some God logically must exist, which I think I would question each of those.
Yes.
But even if you were to conclude that some God logically must exist, why would you conclude that it must be the God of the Bible, and then that God must be somehow lying or tricking us? I mean, I get with the agape love part, but why conclude that if any God exists, it must be this God?
Because of the historical records of Jesus Christ, the death and resurrection, or I would call it a reincarnation, but death and resurrection of Jesus Christ.
What historical record?
So the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and to help give them credibility, there's Thales that confirms a a noon that was dark, a dark noon, around the time that Jesus Christ was crucified. And Julius argued that it was supernatural, and Thales argued it was not.
There was a dark
Noon. Yes.
a dark noon.
Yes.
When was the dark noon?
The dark noon was around the time that Jesus Christ was crucified. What we do know is it was at least the year. But
You're saying there was a dark noon the year Jesus was crucified. How did you determine that?
Because Thales and Julius recorded it.
They recorded it what year?
Sorry, I need to look this. I think it was the year that Jesus Christ was crucified. Is it fine if I look it up? Look up the...
Yeah, go for it. Take your time.
Thank you. I'll go on mute for a moment.
Sure. While he does that, thank you guys for tapping us up to 2,000 likes. I'm pretty sure the TikTok algorithm is completely fucking broken. Because otherwise, I'm sure somebody else would have noticed that we are live and there's only 12 of us here. That seems a little strange. But sure, let's just keep tapping and sharing the live out. And who knows, maybe somebody with a belief in a God or God's higher power or anything like that might actually come along and be able to question that. I understand that, Rav, but that's not where our whole audience is. I know restarting can help sometimes, but I try not to fall into that trap. Maybe that's what we'll do here soon, but we'll talk to Yomer just a little bit more, and if there's still only a handful of us in the room, we'll try a restart. Hello, Raph. How you doing?
Well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Trying to stay warm.
I hear that. Just put on my snorkeler.
A snorkeler?
You know, the big puffy jacket with the
Okay.
you know, fur on the hood.
I thought it might be that, Crystal. But yeah, last night was an incredibly wild ride. Everything got reset and changed mid-live. Got stuck in limbo for a while. I couldn't even talk to the audience or end the live. It was just stuck. It was ridiculous.
What a world.
I know. I'm hoping for something a little better tonight. Yeah, thank you guys for all the shares. Of course, I forgot to share. So let's make sure I remember to. And we can always remember to repost and add to story and all that fun stuff too. We did have fun, Hazelnut. Hazel was on panel and was the only one whose app didn't glitch out, so she was able to read the chat, but they couldn't hear her, so she had to basically interpret them to me and me to them. For nearly an hour, we kept 30 people in the room through that. It was wild.
Teamwork.
It was teamwork. And then we came back after a reset, and I couldn't take guests for like 20 minutes. It was just broken. It was so broken.
Conspiracy.
I don't know.
Incompetency.
I think that would probably be the most likely.
Conspiracy is more fun.
All right.
You found it. So there's a Dark Noon recorded by Thalius, was what you were looking up. Something about that.
Yeah. It's AD 33. Around AD 33 is what I found. Oh, shoot. Sorry. This didn't mention Thales at all. That one did.
So it's just something that recorded a Dark Noon in AD 33 somewhere. Someone recorded it.
Yeah.
Because Thales
yes,
was believed to have written his around 52, right?
Yep, he wrote it around 52, yes.
So that would not be 33.
Yes, he wrote it around.
Noon.
He wrote it. He wrote about it on in 52. But the claim is it happened in 33. So he would have written it around, what was it, 29 years after the fact? 19... Yeah, 19 years after the fact. Oh, I'm getting my math messed up. Sorry, 17 years after the fact.
And you're saying that in 52 he wrote that it happened 17 years prior?
Yes. Yeah. So, okay, yeah, Thales and Ellis indicated... Yep.
Sorry, Thales and who?
And Pelagian indicated that darkness covered the land. Like, there was... It was very dark around when after Jesus Christ died on the cross. So
you get Thales and Phlegus.
Flagon. Yep.
Or Flagon.
Yeah,
Flegon.
Flagon. Yeah.
What a name.
Phlegon. It's a funky name.
And so the two of them record a darkness.
Yep.
And you're sure that they both recorded at 33 AD?
They recorded it 52 AD.
They both recorded in 52.
Yep. The claim is it happened at 33 AD. The Dark Noon happened at 33 AD, but they recorded it in 52 AD. So
does his work indicate that it was in 33, or does it just, like, what does it specifically say?
His work is at 52 AD. His work, he wrote about it.
But what does he actually say?
If I go directly to him... Alice... I had him bookmarked. Oh my gosh.
What do we actually have of what Thales wrote?
Huh? Do we have what Thales wrote?
Yeah. Do we actually have it, or do we have him being quoted more than a century later?
Alright. Apparently, yes, we do. And I need to find that National Archives. Oh my gosh. Okay, so apparently we did lose his work. His original works are lost and noted by Julius Africanus.
When?
Okay, now I need to look him up. Okay. 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 Huh. Okay, so apparently what you said is correct. So he quoted his work in 221.
Oh, that's a long time.
That is a long time.
And so we have Julius Africanus quoting him more than 150 years later. And
that can be a problem.
mm-hmm.
Who lived? So now I guess I wonder how we lost Thallus's work and how honestly we can take Julius Africanus.
Does it seem convenient at all that all around the same time in the 3rd century there's suddenly evidence?
Yeah. That's yeah, totally. That was, I mean, we lost Thallus's work. Just that's convenient, isn't it? Yeah. I know I'm expressing myself.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I don't mind taking your time with it and being honest. So it's seeming like at least this evidence, this reasoning to believe that there was a resurrection isn't quite as evidenced, is it?
Well, my whole reason of believing Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, part of my reason was because that there was an agreement that this dark noon really happened at the time that he died, which it would indicate that it's pretty possible that even though Thallus's work was lost and found by Africanus, that this could be non-conflicting with some sort of foggy noon or dark noon. But now I mean I do got a question. Why was Julius Africanus the one that found it and not someone else? Like, how did he find it? and I'm not sure that Thallus was someone that would I'll stop rambling, but that I do gotta do some research on Thallus, Julius Africanus, how was his works lost, and yeah. So
don't forget the questions that you're raising here, but I do have one more.
Yes.
Assuming that there was a noontime darkness, and it happened in 33 AD, how would that verify the resurrection claim?
It wouldn't quite do it yet, but it does establish some credibility of the Bible. Not the Bible, sorry. The Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the books. Because if it is indeed the case that the dark noon happened, clearly the Gospels of John, Luke, and Matthew, one of them doesn't have that detail, are pretty reliable when it comes to recording events, because that was an event that really did happen. If they have recorded an event that really happened, it would be important to take note, let's see what else they have. Right, for instance,
If I
So-
was going to set a fictional story in New York, circa 2001, might it make sense for my story if I include events that happened in New York in 2001?
yes, like the 9/11 event. Yes.
Would that verify that the story that I tell is true?
It would give us some credibility, that you'd have some credibility.
If my story includes zombies, would that verify that the zombies are true now? Because it happened during 9/11.
Well, yeah, zombies is a detail in there. But since you did write in 2001, we would have to go and look back and see if there was evidence of zombies there.
Is there any evidence of zombies in Jerusalem in 33 AD? Besides
No.
Matthew's account of zombies.
Zombies?
A loaded question.
That's weird.
Of course it was loaded.
Yeah, that is weird because I've never heard of accounts of zombies. When was this?
Well, that's pretty much the Pharisaic. Are you familiar with what set apart the Pharisees from the Sadducees?
Sorry, can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Sure. Are you familiar with what set apart the Pharisees from the Sadducees?
No, I'm not familiar with them. What's
The Pharisees' innovation and sort of addition was resurrection of the dead.
Okay.
And so they were really hoping for zombies.
Okay. So we have so there'd be a claim that zombies existed.
Well, that's the whole claim of the Christian Bible.
Jesus is
Technically a zombie.
kind of a zombie, isn't he?
Yes, I guess definitionally something that came back from the dead would be considered a zombie.
Ideally, not monkey's paw version, but
Yeah. Ideally not the monkey's paws version. But yeah, a technical zombie, you know. Yeah. So I guess so if someone were a Christian, they would have to believe that zombies are real, I guess. Or at least just the technical definition of zombies.
So Matthew 27:51. And behold, the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom, and the earth shook, and the rocks were split. The tombs also were opened, and many bodies of saints who had fallen asleep were raised. And coming out of the tombs after his resurrection, they went into the holy city and appeared to many.
ugh.
So zombies, like a bunch of them.
They were the good kind.
Right. They were the saints.
Yeah.
So they were saints.
Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, how I want to be in that number. I mean, that's what it is. When the saints go marching in.
And the saints go marching in. How I want to have a shotgun. Oh, and
Or a baseball bat with nails.
baseball bat with nails, probably a lot better. It's quieter. Either way. Zombies. So Matthew describes The tombs opening, the bodies coming out and walking amongst the living, being seen by many. Wouldn't that be a notable event for a historian?
Yes, that would be a notable event for an historian. Someone should record that.
It's interesting that Matthew's the only one who did, though. Of all the Gospels and all the supposed corroborating histories.
Can I make a wondering?
You sure can.
I wonder if they like had access to the same scrolls. Like, I think the Hebrew Bible was pretty much canonized, but I don't know in the same way, we have very easy access to these scrolls. One of the things that the Essenes were famous for was copying scrolls. And I wonder if that was, yes, part of the aesthetic lifestyle, but, providing access.
Oh, so yeah, not even anything outside of any biblical sources mention just Matthew.
Did you hear Rap's wondering?
Sorry, what was Raph asking? I'm sorry. Oh, did I hear Raph some rapping?
He was wondering something out loud. Do you want to repeat it, Rap?
Yeah, what was it that led me to say that? Because I can't remember exactly how it started. I remember the conclusion, but I can't remember exactly.
We were talking about the scrolls. Do they have access to the same?
Yeah, I just can't remember.
We're talking about the zombies walking around the city.
Oh, I know what I want. There's so many discrepancies between these. Like, why does Matthew only is one who records these, the zombies, because maybe he has different priorities than the other gospels. Maybe he only has one part of the story, or maybe he has an extra part of the story. But like theoretically, like some of these references are so poorly referenced, and some of these sort of ideas are so half baked. I mean, I guess to me it places it at a very specific moment in time where people didn't have a lot of access, or responding to the cataclysmic destruction of the temple, and like, what do you do now? And are sort of picking up the pieces of whatever's left. And I guess to me that places it at a specific time. I'm wondering, I don't know, any thoughts?
So you're wondering why why there is not much recording? Sorry, shoot. Why is there not easy access to what? Sorry.
There's something like why are there so many discrepancies in the Gospels?
Oh, why are there so many discrepancies? Okay. Oh, like when Matthew records the saints, and then when one part of the gospel is records one angel, one records two angels, like that stuff.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. So from what I understand, Matthew, so when one part of the gospel is when they visit the tomb. Oh. When
Go
one
ahead,
part.
Daryl.
Yeah, you're right, bud.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. So, my understanding of the 4 books is they're written in different perspectives. Yes, sometimes they copy from each other, and yes, sometimes they are distinct and other.
Well, so that's not exactly what I was. I understand what you're saying. What I was really talking about, though, is um, like different references that exist, um, like referencing the Hebrew Bible that are. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It was just amusing, I guess.
Okay. So the discrepancies in the Bible through like sources.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I and we're not really going to have a full picture of everything that happened, of course. There's just so much that people can't even record from back then. It,
Why would God not ensure that these events are properly recorded? If these are meant to be the events that should be known to all of mankind, if these are the events that are meant to save us from sin, why would it not be more accurately recorded?
well,
Why would a God not make sure of it?
Well, I'm not a Christian. I'm a deist. I believe after the death of Christ, he became deistic. He just stopped doing miracles. So, partially messing with us. I think that the
To mess with us.
Yes.
So God did it to mess with us.
Yes.
Is this why you get to the trickster side of God? Because divine hiddenness and his confusing nature.
Yeah. I do believe that the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, are still historical in nature. The manuscript evidence.
Why?
The Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John have, what is it, 2,000 manuscripts?
What does that mean? 2,000 manuscripts.
I need to look up how many manuscripts they have.
I know a guy once who bought 1,000 copies of his own book. His book sold.
Awesome.
His book sold 1,001 copies. What does that tell us? I don't know what you mean by there's thousands of manuscripts.
Also, most of them are manuscripts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, papyrus sections with like 3 letters.
So, a manuscript is sort of a section. MMS Greek.
While you're doing that, Yomer, I'm gonna really quickly thank Cat in a Vat, Enki Bub, Shell, Danny Grax, Cat DeWitch, Everlasting Godstopper, and thank you, Link, for helping with the goal. Thank you guys so much. And we're still at 27 people in here. That's pretty low for this long into the live. Hopefully it's just the algorithm playing games with us, but if we all tap the screen a little bit more, maybe get that number up to 15K or even 20K, I bet we could probably get some of our regulars in here at least. And maybe then, the more we tap, the more we share, we might be able to get somebody with a belief in a god or God's higher power or anything like that to show the courage or curiosity that Yomer has in questioning their beliefs.
So manuscripts are pieces of the book, like documents. So the Gospels have about 5.5 thousand to 5.8 thousand documents. Manuscripts.
Pieces of documents. But what does that mean? Like, they're pieces of documents. So where do these documents come from? What do each of them indicate? These are questions you should ask. When you say there's this many documents, does that mean that all of them indicate the truth of the claim, or do some of them indicate something different? Are there variances?
Yeah. From what I understand, they all do agree with the life of Jesus Christ.
They agree with it. When are these documents dated to? When's the earliest?
The earliest, I think last time we went over that, we established it was 65 years after Christ died, so
65.
Yeah.
So there's documents of the Gospels that go back as early as the 90s.
Oh shoot! No, 65 years after Christ died. So 65 years after 33 AD.
65 years. I'm not sure where you're getting that date. Where are you getting 65 years?
Sorry, my bad. So the Gospel of Mark was apparently written in 50 or 60 AD. Sorry, my bad.
So the Gospel of Mark was supposedly written then, but you said we have documents, manuscripts. When's the earliest of the manuscripts?
Okay. Earliest. Oh shoot! Sorry.
If it's in the 120s, say, if the earliest manuscript were somewhere around 120,
25.
AD,
Yep.
125.
Yeah, apparently.
P52, right?
Yes.
So, if that's the earliest supposed manuscript, and it's just a fragment of a portion of of not even Mark, it's John, isn't it?
Yes.
So, how does this tell us? Like, what does this tell us about the historicity, the truth claims made in the Gospels?
So the findings of P22 and 125 AD.
Well, not just that, but you're saying that the reason that you believe the Gospels are historical is because we have these so many manuscripts.
Yep.
But if all of the manuscripts that we have are after 125. What does that tell you about the historical claims of the Gospels? How does that verify them?
So, the manuscripts are all in different languages. Latin, Greek, Hebrew, Amharic, Gothic, and they are all agreeing with each other.
What are they doing, though? I mean, like, how are they verifying the historical claims if they're that old or not old enough?
They provide us 4 unique perspectives on the events.
Are you
that are
reading
claimed.
AI, Yomer?
Partially, yes, but partially
Okay.
I'm also remembering what
They provide us 4 unique perspectives. How is that providing us 4 unique perspectives?
So
You're saying
So-
the 4 Gospels each provide
Yes.
a perspective.
yes.
I'm asking you how you can say that they are historical or say that they are accurate in any way. And your answer was, we have so many manuscripts. But the earliest manuscripts are from 125, which is nearly a century later.
Yes. But just
So-
because yes.
So how does that verify how authentic they are? If all of these manuscripts were supposed to tell you that these were authentic and historical, aren't all of these manuscripts from a century later or more?
So okay. So just because we have gathered them or found them in 125 AD does not tarnish the historical validity, and I know you didn't say it does, but it's really because that these manuscripts, we were able to put them back, and
We're able to put what back?
these manuscripts from Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
I'm sorry, which manuscripts?
The ones that are in Greek, Latin, and Hebrew.
Greek, Latin, and Hebrew. It sounds like you're kind of leaning on an apologetic here, Yomer, that you're not quite sure how to apply. Saying
Yeah.
there are these manuscripts, there's so many manuscripts, is a response, but it's not to what
Yeah.
I'm asking.
Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. I'm gonna close the computer there. So I'm sorry. Yes,
But are you hearing what I'm asking? Like
you've
what-
asked
How is it you're able to verify any historicity of the Gospels?
the narrative that's written in.
How does that verify its validity? How does it verify that it is true?
All right. Because when you're writing a historical narrative, you can try to verify archaeologically if it exists, what they're talking about really exists. So it does record in the Gospels.
Can I just clarify?
Yes.
Did I hear you correctly? You said when you're writing a historical narrative?
I don't remember if I said when you're writing historical narrative. When you find that documents are written in a historical narrative, I probably should have written it. So you would be able to verify the archaeology, like in Judea. Sorry, not written in Judea. And Nazareth, they record Jesus in Nazareth. You're able to verify that place. So because they're writing it in a historical narrative, we have a way to verify where it's being recorded and run some tests to see if they're speaking the truth or not. So if you see that all the four gospels are being consistent, then
Consistent in what?
consistent in recording these events.
What do you mean they're consistent in recording the events?
Of Jesus Christ.
You're saying there's no contradictions?
I wouldn't say that there's quite contradictions. There's different perspective, but not contradictions.
Have you read the Gospels?
I have read John 1 through 5 and Mark 1 through 2 chapters.
How are you confident to say that there are no contradictions if you haven't read them through?
I'm not really that confident, if I'm being honest. Yeah, now I'm kind of seeing that what I believed is probably not as I thought.
So maybe I can ask you again. Do you believe there are no contradictions in the Gospels?
I don't know.
Sorry?
Sorry, I don't know.
You don't know. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot.
I think I have a little more work to do, I guess. I'm sorry, I've been rambling for a while.
You're doing fine, Yomer. It sounds like you do have some more work to do, some reading. You do a lot of focusing whenever we have these conversations on studying intricacies of whether it be particle physics, genetics and DNA, or historical records and old apologetics for Christianity. I'm wondering why in all of that you haven't read more of the book.
Man, if I gotta be honest, I get very distracted very easily, and I procrastinate. I have been procrastinating. I've been playing World of Tanks Blitz.
I mean, that's honest.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Hello, everlasting Godstopper. Did you have a question for Yomer?
I do. Yomer, so you mentioned you're just getting into the beginning of Mark and the beginning of John. So I guess my question would be, if you're unaware of any biblical contradictions, could that be just because you haven't come across them yet, because you're just scratching the surface of reading the scriptures?
Yes. Now, I gotta be honest, part of the reasons why I've been trusting some of the events to be true might have been because I've been listening to these debates between Cliff Kneckley and other college students, and I've been just just looking up things and finding that these things are probably true.
Are you have you ever heard of the contradiction concerning what time of day that Jesus was crucified?
I haven't.
Yeah, the book of Mark says that Jesus was crucified at the third hour, which would be 9 a.m. But then in John 19, it indicates that he was in court on the 6th hour, which would be 12 noon. So he couldn't really show up for court if he was already crucified.
Huh. I guess the question would be, okay, so 12 o'clock, he showed up for court, and 6 p.m. he was...
No. So the way it's worded is in the third hour he was crucified in Mark, and they started counting the day at 6 a.m. at dawn. So
Okay.
so the third hour would be 9 a.m. He was crucified according to Mark 15, but in John 19 he is standing in front of Pontius Pilate at his trial at noon at the 6th hour.
Okay.
So Mark is saying he was crucified at 9 a.m. and John's saying that he was having his trial at noon on the same day. This would have been the day of preparation, which is they were preparing for a high Sabbath, which just meant that the Passover of this particular year, the Sabbath fell on the Passover, so it was considered a high Sabbath, like an extra special Sabbath. But it explains all this about the day of preparation being the day before the Sabbath, which would have been the Friday preceding sundown.
Okay, so John records the 12 p.m., the 6 hour, and then the third hour is recorded by Matthew.
Nope, Mark says he's crucified at 9 a.m.
9 a.m. Okay.
And John says he's in trial. He's having his trial at noon.
At noon. Okay. So, and we're sure this is on the same day?
Yep.
Because they said it's on Sabbath.
Yeah, on both accounts, it explains that it's the day of preparation, the day before the Sabbath.
All right.
Which, in just to kind of inform you, and Rav can attest to this, the Sabbath is considered to begin at sundown on Friday, and it extends until sundown on Saturday.
Could be possible that Jesus was crucified a week after being prosecuted.
No, it tells you in the story that it's the day he's crucified on the day of preparation. All the trial and the crucifixion all occurs within the same day.
Okay.
So both accounts, both John and Mark, both place it on the same day, but they give two different conflicting times. And the reason why this is a contradiction is because it can only be one or the other.
Yeah, right. Yep. Law of non-contradiction wins the day. Yep, because he can't have been crucified at 9 a.m. and then prosecuted at 12 p.m. because he's dead.
Correct.
At 12 p.m. Yep.
You got it. Well, he would have at least been on the cross.
Or on the cross, yeah.
Yeah. And the only reason this contradiction came to mind is because you had mentioned that you're just getting into the beginning of Mark and the beginning of John. These are a little further into those books, but there are other contradictions that we could talk about, but this was the one that came to mind, and I thought you might be interested to learn about it.
All right. Well, good to know. So I guess God I believe in is just plain deistic, not even either plain deistic or plain trickster God. I guess I don't have any conclusionary evidence to say trickster God anymore. Right.
Is that
Well, can I ask you this? Do you... Oh, go ahead, Phil. Sorry.
is that starting with the assumption that there is a God?
Something that you can get designed in order by accident. I think there is reasonable evidence to support design and order in this universe.
So then who created God? Sorry,
Who
Celia.
created God? Well, that's so who created God? So we're assuming that God had a cause. But
Well, he is life, and you said life has to come from life. So if God is life, then what is
All is life.
where's the life that gave God life?
Yeah. Yes, I did make the claim life comes from life only. Yes, so but if God is uncaused, then he didn't have to come from anything. He would have to his existence wouldn't be willed by himself. So he would exist whether he liked it or not. So an existence itself fits the parameter of being an uncaused cause, something that doesn't happen for any sort of reason. Well, I'm avoiding the question. Oh shoot, sorry. So what created God? So the answer is there's nothing that created God. So I'm claiming that God is existence itself. Itself. So, being existence itself,
If God is existence itself, then how did it create existence? You're saying it created itself.
No, I'm not saying that it created itself. I'm saying that God always existed.
So existence always existed.
Yeah,
So
pretty much.
Why call it God?
Why call it God? Because, well, definitionally, a God is something that has the potential to create, to truly create. So,
How does it create if it always existed?
so, right. So now so the definition of creating is to make something that is new. So he is able to make something new. Like, since it's all spirit in his realm, he's able to create matter and energy, which is what we have as a product of the Big Bang. Right?
When did he create? I'm sorry, you're saying he created matter and energy. So existence created matter and energy through the Big Bang.
Yes.
Why do you say that it created matter and energy?
I would say it created matter and energy because through the Big Bang, before the Big Bang, there was not anything in existence.
How do you know that? Why would you say that?
I would say that because there's no evidence to support anything before the Big Bang.
Is there evidence to support nothing before the Big Bang?
there's evidence to support an origin of the universe.
How is there evidence to support an origin of the universe? And that kind of missed my question, if there was evidence of nothing before the Big Bang.
Yes. Yes, you're right. Yes. What's it? I really do not want to use internet. I'm sorry.
You're all right, Yomer. But is there evidence of nothing before the Big Bang?
Nothing. Yeah. There's evidence for nothing material.
What is that? How is there evidence of nothing material?
Yeah. So nothing material. Because sorry. The universe has an origin point because there's the microwave microwave something. Sorry, can I use the internet real quick?
Yeah, Yomer, go for it.
I mean,
that's what it's there for.
Yeah. I've been.
While he does that, we're at 18,000 likes. Appreciate everybody tapping the screen. Of course, the more we tap, the more likely that the algorithm might actually turn on for us tonight. And who knows, get us out to the FYP of a believer with the curiosity or courage to question their belief.
Some courageosity.
Courageosity. I think that's required for questioning. I don't do it very often, but I'm very nearly tempted to do a restart on this live.
I'm not sure how much good it'll do because it's been exactly like this on every panel I've floated around on today. It's weird. Like some creators that usually have hundreds of people had like 17 people, and they were complaining about the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then I guess we'll just let it roll. We're only a few dozen down from where we should be right now, but, normally by now we'd be climbing closer to 80 or, I don't know.
Maybe there's those in the comments who remember seeing someone else regularly in here that's not regularly in here. Maybe you could share it to that person directly, the share button, or repost, or share this on your story feed. That would always be very helpful.
Okay. So the cosmic microwave background radiation points to an origin of the universe.
You're saying it points to an origin of the universe.
And this was accidentally discovered.
Origin of the universe or our universe?
Origin of the universe, our universe. Yeah.
So it points to an origin
Yeah.
of the universe. How does that indicate that there was nothing prior?
Well, if you say the universe began if you hold to the proposition the universe began 13.7 billion years ago, if there's a start to this universe, then the question is why would it, sorry, I shouldn't answer with a question, but there would be a question posed, why would there be a start 13.7 billion years ago?
So if this background radiation points to an origin of the background radiation, of an expansion of it, right?
Yes.
If that's the case, how does that indicate that there was nothing prior to it? Doesn't that seem like an assumption?
Well, yes. I guess you're right, because they would say it started as an infinitely small, hot, dense point. So I guess it could be totally possible that there's just a very small, very dense point where it's where it could where it's not actually nothing, it's still a very, very small dense point still, and it's unmeasurable. That could be possible.
If that's the case, then what about it expanding into all it is indicates that some God must be involved.
That wouldn't. It would not completely so yes, so the interpretation, so either it's a small expand a very small point, there's a very small point to the universe that just expanded infinitely, or I guess something caused it. So I guess those two things are options. So your question is why would that why would there be a need for a god? Shoot, I missed it. I'm sorry, I missed it.
I think what he asked was. Oh, go ahead, Thrayle.
Oh, that's fine. I was just curious. What about the expansion of the universe indicates that there is a God, or what need do you have of a God just to expand from that single point if it could have infinitely existed?
Okay. All right. Because the universe has a start, it would have to have a cause.
But that's just it. If there was this infinite point that existed prior, what indicates start? What are you calling start?
So when I call start, I would mean that there was nothing that existed, but clearly this points to a possibility of something existing. So something always there, always eternal. I guess now it is debatable whether or not the universe is eternal or not. So I guess it's not mutually conclusive whether or not the universe was caused by something outside time and space, or whether it just was. That the universe just was, is, you know what I mean, right?
Yes.
So okay,
So
yeah, that's debatable. Okay.
If I recall correctly, this stemmed from the question about assuming there is a God. When you said that perhaps there is a deist God or a trickster God.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Why are those the two options that you're considering at this point?
I guess I gotta say, I've been trusting the Gospels to give historical knowledge. And now I think I need to reevaluate that. I think deism is going to be more appropriate a more appropriate path for me than this trickster god.
Why is that?
Because I've not been able to verify the gospels as well as I thought I would today.
Mm.
So I'm starting to question whether or not what I'm believing is actually true.
If there is
a God, yeah.
If the universe has always existed, and that's a possibility, do you still need the belief in a deist God?
Not really, no. Because if the universe always existed, then atheism, pantheism. I guess pantheism is not really not really something I would have considered. But yeah, atheism would be a thing I would be considering. Because if the universe just is at one, and not even just at one point, but just always existed, then yeah, there's no need for a god. There's no cause.
Do you believe that that is possible, that the universe has always existed and that there is no need for a god?
You know, I am not so sure that the universe has always existed. The Big Bang is cause, but I don't know if now the cause of that could just be the heat and the density. Just well, just expanding, and if it always existed, or whether or not some being decided to make this universe.
Does not knowing make you uncomfortable in any way?
Yeah.
Or do you have to have the answer?
Yeah, not knowing definitely has me uncomfortable. Because if I were an atheist, in this stance, I have to acknowledge that that we're reducing this reality to matter and energy, right? And I do have a problem with that.
So I don't know it's an uncomfortable place for you.
Yes, it is. Yes.
And the reason for that is because is that what you said? It means that you're only living in a physical reality as opposed to having a spiritual reality. Is that kind of where you're coming from?
Oh, so my problem with atheism is that many paths with atheism, really the one that I know of is if I'm going to consider being an atheist, I have to acknowledge that all of reality is matter and energy. I gotta reduce this reality to matter and energy. So
why does atheism equate to basically what you're describing? Sounds like physicalism or materialism.
Materialism, yes.
Why do those two equate?
Okay, so because that's the only thing that we can really observe with that's really the only thing we can observe that this reality really has. You don't have a god to make the spiritual, make the metaphysical. You don't have and you don't have
what if can I ask real quick, what if spiritual or metaphysical were just properties of nature itself without a god involved? Is that a possibility?
I would not get how that can happen.
Well, I guess I don't have any answers for that. I'm
That's
asking,
fine. You don't have to
just
answer.
asking.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just asking if you hold any space for such an idea, because the reason I ask that is because there are atheists, believe it or not, who do hold, spiritual beliefs.
Yes.
And they, I know atheists that are Platonist. So they, some atheists that I know hold to what's called mathematical Platonism, which is kind of the idea that everything in reality is ontologically rooted in its mathematical equation, and there's no God involved with that. It's just the way that they believe that reality is structured. So there, not that means anything spiritual, but it means something more than just physical. And I'm just wondering if you had considered any other possibilities that don't involve a God.
Yeah. Well, that would have to be atheism, or agnosticism. But I mean, I was an atheist when I was 13 through 18. I'm 20 right now. Because I didn't think that God was really existent. I didn't see any evidence for that. So now that I'm seeing my evidence for God's existence is fading. I mean, now I don't know. I guess the last one I would really have is the language one, but before I am continuing on to that, I forgot to answer your question, which was, why would I not consider anything other than materialism as an atheist? Like, how could why do I eliminate spirituality, spirit? Right?
Like, for example, I believe there's, certain aspects of Buddhism that can, hold spiritual beliefs without a belief in a deity.
Mm-hmm.
I know atheists that believe in reincarnation, for example. I know atheists that believe in souls and spirits. And you said, when you said earlier that, a few minutes ago, you said that you don't see how that could be possible without a God. If these things were just part of nature. And I guess my question would be, do you think nature has mysteries?
Yes, I guess that's something. Yes, my bad. Yes, that's.
So if there's mysteries in nature that, maybe we just don't have access to that information, it kind of, do you see how it could kind of,
yeah, I see. Yes.
You might be putting a God in that gap as an explanation for something you just don't know. And the I don't know seems to make you uncomfortable. And I don't know, like I want to kind of encourage you to find a way to be comfortable with I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess the one other reason, only reason now is because of intelligent design of the cell. So I guess, may I go on to that one real quick? I guess that's only one I have.
Well, I mean, at this point, Yomer,
Okay, yeah.
We've kind of questioned a lot of the reasons why you believe, and you now think. I mean, now is it just that you're trying to debate the existence of any God at all?
Yeah, I guess I have kind of exhausted it a little bit. Yeah, I think I am debating at this point. I think.
Why is it so important to you that a God be proven or at least argued?
I mean, there's very little hope in this reality. So honestly, I'm trying to figure out what's true. And I was pretty sure that there was a God, so I'm trying to figure out whether I should take the God seriously or just do whatever I want with this reality. But now I don't even know if I just do want to know the truth. I genuinely do want to know the truth. But I acknowledge I can't know the truth. So I do not know.
Is that really so scary?
It is. It is. Yes. I mean, everybody has to go through this. Yeah.
What's the scariest part about not knowing?
Well, the scariest part about not knowing is not knowing, because you know you only know the few possibilities of what's going to happen to you, but I know I do have a grave with my name on it, or maybe my ashes, and I'm just trying to figure out whether it's temporary or if it's permanent. I think that it's probably going to be permanent. Why it's lacking knowledge scare me? I mean, because I'm walking in the dark, I don't know what my next step is going to be.
Can I ask you a question, Yomi?
Yes.
So, like for the majority of your teenage years, you were atheist, and say for the last 2 or so years, you've been
Yes.
more or less theist of some kind.
Yep. I was a Christian, and I've been flipping back and forth to deism.
Okay.
And Christian, yeah.
Let's compare, like, say, some of the years in your earlier teenage years, like maybe 17, 18, and then 19, 20. Were you that much of a different person when you were an atheist than when you were a Christian?
Yes.
Like, would you say you treated people drastically differently versus the other? Like, would that be a reason to why you chose Christianity?
No, but I did treat people differently, but there was a certain reason. I thought Jesus Christ was reliable. I thought there's life after death, so I chose Christ. I think my faith is bankrupt. One of my main reasons of why I dodged out of Christ in the first place, just very recently, was because the Bible made the claim of agape love. I don't think unconditional love exists. Just, you don't unconditionally love or unconditionally care or unconditionally disposition your way from someone for no reason, for no conditions. So
you appreciate the love that Christianity gave you for your fellow mankind and so forth.
No. No.
No, I'm sorry. What
I don't know if there's anything I appreciate about Christianity at all, really.
so if you weren't a better for Christianity, why does it bother you that without it, like, why does it bother you that the fact that you might being without it? If you if you're capable enough with or without it, and having it didn't make you a better person, is it so bad not to have it, or?
No. I mean, it's not even so bad not to have it. I never had it in the first place, if I'm being honest. I mean, because as I don't see it being true. I'm convinced that it's not true. So there's no. So yeah, no, I didn't have it in the first place. You could call it a false hope. I had a false hope, if that's what you'd like to call it. So that's why I'm so disturbed. Is I had some faith in this hope, but yeah, I think I'm starting to find out that it's probably not the case.
But if all we have is what's here and what's around us and what exists in front of us, and should not our purpose in life be to be good and better versions of ourselves instead of wondering what happens after we're gone?
Well, when you have if you're talking about purpose, you're implying a mind there, an intention. When I was 16, I was an atheist and I was doing Minecraft or whatever. I understood if there's no God, there is no purpose because there's no mind and design behind you. And if there's no mind and design behind you, then there's no objective purpose behind you. There's no.
Unless we create ourselves our own purpose.
But yeah, you have the mind aspect there, but you don't have a design behind you. You don't have any intention behind you. You don't really have a purpose. The chair has a purpose.
Why do you need a purpose from outside of you?
I don't need a purpose from outside of me. Sorry. Why do you need a mind to have purpose? Is that what you? That's good.
No. Why are you requiring a purpose outside of you, like a chair has a purpose given to it by its maker?
Yep.
Why are you a chair? Why do you need Rick Sanchez to tell you that you're made to pass butter?
No. So, I need a God in order to have a purpose because there's a mind behind me. There's an intent behind me. If there's no intention behind you, then you don't really in yourself have a purpose, not objectively.
Why do you want for an objective purpose? Why is that important to you?
Well, it's important to me. It is slightly important to me because that does give us a good basis for morality. That is a good that is a slight importance to me. But yeah, purpose does give some entailment for morality. So that can be an importance to many Christians. So why? Yeah. Go on.
I'm trying to find out why it's important to you.
Well,
to have an objective purpose. assigned?
Oh, I was talking about when I was 16, I found out if there's no God, there's no objective purpose. But I guess I'm stressing this because, yes, just like when I said, if there's no God, there's no purpose, I kind of figured out because I have no purpose, I should do what I want. I mean, so that's the whole point. If we don't really have a purpose, I think the conclusion of this reality would just be to do what you want.
And why shouldn't you do what you want?
Why should I do what I want?
Why shouldn't you do what you want?
I said I should do what I want. Sorry.
I see. So you're concluding that you should.
Yeah.
That you don't
as
need
an
a
atheist.
purpose.
When I was an atheist, yep. Correct.
Right.
Yes.
And I'm trying to find out why now objective purpose is so important to you.
Yeah, because that means
that means you'll do what you want. And so I'm finding out now why you shouldn't do what you want. What's wrong with you doing what you want?
Yeah. Because if there is a God that created me with purpose and expects me to follow through with it, and there will be consequences, that will ultimately that would deter me from just doing what I want.
But if there's a God that created you with purpose, why hasn't it told you what your purpose is?
Yeah.
And how can you be held responsible if it hasn't?
Right. Yeah.
Is having a purpose prescribed to you more special than you choosing your own purpose?
Okay. I'll address your question after Thrayle. Thrayle.
Thrayle.
So, Thrayle. Thank you. Okay. So. Sorry, so you said why is how can I be held responsible? Well, I can be held responsible if I'm ignoring my conscience. And if my conscience is able to convict me for violating my purpose. Because if there's a God that created your conscience and linked it to either its own mind or it imprinted a value system to you, which indicates a purpose, which would indicate to you a purpose or a value to other people. So for Christians, they would say either imprint or link it to God's mind. Their purpose is to love God or whatever. So when I played a scenario unalive, if I tried to play a scenario unaliving a person, I'm getting rid of that person that is supposed to love God. But since they're gone, they can't do that anymore. So now I have to put myself. So now that I play that scenario, I realize it's wrong to unalive people. So once I get there, I can start to once I get there, I start to realize there is a moral system. So because there's a moral system, I can figure out that there's things I should and shouldn't do. So I can be held responsible for because I have a conscience that can convict me. Does that make sense?
I mean, you just raised more questions for me to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's what he does. But you should have plenty of questions to take with you, Yomer.
Thank you.
I do appreciate you coming up and answering the questions openly and honestly. I really do. I don't have any more questions for you now, and if anybody else does, this is your chance to get them in before we move on to a new guest.
I would like to ask a question, and I'd like to abandon the other question that I had. So you just said that if you unalived someone and their purpose was to love God, and you've taken that away from them, but in I'm presuming that in your belief of God, that entails a belief in an afterlife. So if you've taken a life away from somebody, yet they're gonna move on to, an afterlife, have you really taken away their ability to love God if they're, say, going to heaven to be with God?
So, okay. I didn't, but there is something I did do that's still wrong, and as I took them away from reality A, which they had the potential to spread hope, to spread joy, or to spread what God intended for them to spread. But now, since they were gone from A, they're at dimension B. So I took away their potential for what they were intended for. So it would still be wrong.
So it's not really about you've taken away their purpose of loving God, but you've taken away their life in the here and now. You've taken them away from their family and loved ones, right?
Yep, that too, yes.
So you haven't really robbed God of anything there. You've robbed people.
Well, yeah, technically it's impossible to rob a god. To rob existence itself, just simply because it can't lose anything. But because we are created with a purpose of some type, sorry if the person I gave was created for the purpose of loving God. Because I have unalived him, I am at least stalling the process, or at least transporting it somewhere else, somewhere where it was not not intended to go yet. So I hope that answers your question. So
I think my question was really meant to determine whether or not it was actually have you done something, because like you said, if you unalive somebody and you've taken away their ability to love God, that was kind of the crux of my question.
Oh, no.
And it doesn't seem that you're really removing that. It seems like your main concern is that you've you if you unalive someone, you're taking them away from this reality.
Yes, correct.
Where they're experiencing, an actual existence. And I guess the only other question I would have is the one that I posed earlier: is do you see it more special to have a purpose prescribed to you, or to have your own ability to determine what that purpose might be?
All right, it would be definitely more meaningful to have it prescribed to me instead of having me decide it.
Why?
Oh,
Why?
Because there's an intention behind me now. There's an intention behind me. So if I didn't have this prescribed purpose, then there's no intention behind me. I am just an accident.
What if you were just nature being nature?
If I'm just nature being nature,
it wouldn't really be an accident then, correct?
Yeah. Nature being nature, sure, but it can be deterministic. But
are you familiar with the term the law of supply and demand?
yes, I am. Yes.
So the more abundant of a supply you have of something, the less valuable it becomes. And so if we apply this to the concept of life, and if you see this life as this is all there is, then it's going to inherently hold more value. And if that were the case, then it would, inherently increase your ability to value this life. And if there is an afterlife, then you have a whole new value set once you get there. But while you're living this life, if you're focused on this eternal existence, then just by the law of supply and demand, it inherently devalues this life. Would you agree with that?
Yes, a eternal life would outrank this life. Yes.
Interesting. Okay, that's all the questions I have.
Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, Yomer. Thank you for coming up and demonstrating an actual ability to question your beliefs. It's very refreshing, and I appreciate you. I hope that you keep asking questions, and definitely come back if you find new answers.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. And also, thank you, KD, for the bonfire, definitely helping me think some warm thoughts in the frozen shed. We do have a couple of guests that have been waiting for just a little while. I'm not sure if they're ghosts yet or not. But before I do bring up a new guest, I want to make sure that I say thank you to everybody for the 28,000 times that you've tapped the screen. Thank you so much. And over 100 and, is it 80? Oh no, 104. Either way, over 100 times shared the live. I need to get new glasses maybe. But thank you guys so much for tapping and sharing. Of course, the more we do that, the more people we might be able to bring along who are as capable or curious as Yomer, because that's definitely amazing how well he can question his beliefs. So definitely want some big W's in the chat for Yomer. And then we do have a guest joining us, Bud. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
I am
Don't mute your
52.
camera. And do you have a belief in a God or gods, higher power, or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm a Hebrew Israelite.
Interesting. So what does that mean to you?
It means that I believe that Jesus Christ is God in the flesh. He came unalive for our sins on the tree. He put his spirit in us so that we could perform and keep the Torah. And I follow law.
Have you read all of your scriptures? I suppose it would be is it the Protestant Bible?
Well, I mean, you're talking about the Torah, the prophets, the letters, and Gospels?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've read all of that from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Do you believe everything within it to be true and literal?
I haven't seen anything otherwise.
Interesting. So you would believe in a 6-day creation, Adam and Eve, as the first two humans.
Especially for, as far as the 6-day creation, I think there's a lot of really great science, including plutonium 218 and granite.
I'm sorry, what? There's science that verifies a 6-day creation?
Yeah, at least short age or spoken into existence.
Or spoken into existence. Fascinating. So you believe this 6-day creation because something in science?
Well, yeah, I mean...
Is it that you already believed it and you look for things to verify it?
No. I mean, I actually spent 3.5 years trying to disprove the Bible. So, I mean, I'm kind of yeah.
So you believe the 6-day creation and you believe Adam and Eve were the first two humans?
Yeah.
Does it matter to you if those stories contradict each other?
There's a theologian, his name is Norman Geisler. You ever heard of him?
I'm asking you if it matters if the two stories contradict each other.
They don't contradict. Are you familiar with Norman Geisler?
Does it matter if they contradict each other, was the question.
Yeah, they don't contradict each other, but if they did, that would matter.
So it would matter if they contradict, but you say there's no contradictions found.
Because Norman Geisler, one of the things that he did over the years is collect apparent contradictions that people brought to him. He wrote 3 different books on it. So, and I love those books. Some of my favorite books.
So because he found things that people said were contradictions and gave reasons or excuses, then therefore there are not contradictions?
Insertions of what the text was actually saying and why, based on history, archaeology, based on grammatical things in Hebrew culture, that kind of thing.
Based on grammatical things in Hebrew culture. Can you tell me what authority he had to say what was or wasn't about Hebrew culture?
What authority does he need?
Well, I mean, was he raised in Hebrew culture? Did he study it extensively? Was there some...
Well, is that a standard? You have to be raised in the Hebrew culture to know?
No, I didn't say there was a standard. I'm asking what qualifications he had.
Oh, I think he spoke like 5 or 7 different languages: Greek, Aramaic, Hebrew, Hittite, all kinds of stuff.
So he spoke different languages, and that made him...
Not only did he speak it, but he wrote it as well.
He could speak and write in different languages, and that qualified him to make determinations about what the Bible actually means and doesn't mean.
Well, it gives him a little bit of a heads up on most of us, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
Can you question your beliefs?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I do it all the time.
What does that mean?
What do you mean?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What do you mean? By what does it mean?
What does it mean to question your beliefs?
Oh, all the stuff that like if this is right in the scriptures, and all that kind of stuff. Does it line up with the consistent all the way through?
Do you leave room for the possibility that your beliefs could be mistaken, or that you could
Absolutely.
be wrong?
If you don't, you're not really much of a truth seeker. You're more of a, whatever your says, being a truth seeker. And I think you should be a truth seeker more than anything else.
Are you familiar with the contradiction or apparent contradiction of the order of creation between Genesis 1 and 2?
Yeah, and I did study that out, and it's a very reasonable, articulate thing that you can. It's real reasonable.
So you say it's well reasonable. So when you hear the order of creation from Genesis 1 is light, firmament, plants, sun and moon, animals, man and woman. And then the order of creation from Genesis 2 is man, plants, animals, woman.
Yeah, but
how do you reconcile the apparent contradiction?
Well, let me go open it up. You want for me to walk you through it?
I'm just curious how you reconcile the apparent contradiction.
So one's an overview. One gives more specifics while they're in the garden and other things. So it's just recap.
You're saying it's specific and in the garden.
So, for example, one of the things that God did with Adam was he put him in the garden, and he created animals right in front of him to see what he'd name them. That doesn't mean there's a second creation. He wasn't making, he was literally making what he'd already made, but he put it before Adam so that he could name them, because naming them was a way of saying ownership over. That's why when he named Eve, he was literally saying, I possess this woman, she's mine.
I'm sorry, how did that address the contradiction of order?
There's no contradiction in order.
Perhaps you're unfamiliar with it.
Oh, I'm very familiar with it. I actually try to use that as a way of escaping the Bible.
A way of escaping the Bible.
Yeah. Yeah. So I used.
So what is the contradiction order that I just was asking you about?
Let me show you. Okay. Let me bring it out. Pull up my Bible here. Oh, old man trying to move here. All right.
Can I ask what translation you prefer?
I usually use ESV, but I can use anything.
That's fine. I just want to I want to follow along, and I want to make sure I'm using the same.
Yeah. No, I like using more of a dynamic formal equivalence than a dynamic equivalence.
What does 2.5 say in the ESV?
1 second. Oh. Okay. My apologies for my slowness. ESV. So, you want to go to 2 right away, or you want me to kind of go over 1 first?
I was curious what 2.5 says.
All right. Let me go there. There were when no bush of the field was yet in the land, and no small plant of the field had yet sprung up, for the Lord God had not caused it to rain in the land, and there was no man to work the ground. In the midst was going up from the land and watered the whole face of the ground. The Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground.
Okay. You're well into, yeah. 22829. So 25 starts with your said bush of the field, and what was the other plant it mentioned?
A bush of the field was yet in the land, and no small plant. The field had sprung up.
Interesting that it says small plant. So it says no bush of the field and no small plant in the ESV.
Right.
So it's saying that there's no plants because, right, it says, for the Lord God had not yet made it, and there was no man.
Right. And did you read 4?
Did I read 4? Yes.
Okay, what does 4 say?
It depends on which translation we're looking at.
These are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created in the day that the Lord made the earth and the heavens.
Interesting, it says generations there. So the generations.
Yeah, it's not the generations you're thinking of.
What do you mean it's not the generations I'm thinking of?
Well, let's go look at the word generations. Okay?
What's the word in Hebrew there?
It says this is the account. So the word is Strong's 8435. It means descendants, family, or history.
So history or could it not mean story?
Yeah, so it's better pronounced. This is the account or history of the heavens and the earth when they were created in the day.
Could it not mean story?
So the word there in generations simply means use it as descendant, family, or history. And the way the sentence structure is probably better is history.
I'm sorry, why are you limiting it to just those words? Are you using
coming up in the Strong's?
Strong's Concordance. Why are you using Strong's Concordance?
Is there another one you'd like me to use? Thayer's?
I'm just asking why you're using that one.
It's pretty simple. It's right up there. It's available. So we can go to the Greek if you like. Or you go to the Greek, Thayer's Greek, if you like.
Why would we go to Greek?
Or not Greek, sorry. The Hebrew. Yeah.
This is how we verify Rav is definitely not awake.
Who's not awake?
Yeah, Rav would have said something.
He would have had something to say. So you're using the Strong's Concordance, and you're saying it means family, history, or generations, or there was another one there.
Or history, yep.
Was there another word?
History. So descendant, family, or history is English equivalent.
I see. It can't mean anything else.
Well, if you can show me, that'd be great.
Does it matter to you if that is the way it is understood by Hebrew speakers or not?
That's from what I understand. This is what it means. Is there something else that you could show me that means something else?
I'm just curious if this is a complete resource. Why would you only use Strong's? Is that the only?
If you have a different source that we can use, you want me to look in Thayer's?
Do you understand that I'm asking you questions? I'm not trying to teach you. I'm not trying to prove anything to you.
Right. I'm saying I typically use Strong's because it's simple, it's quick, and it's available. If there's another thing you'd like me to use.
I'm not trying to get you to use anything else. I'm trying to understand why. So you said because it's quick and it's available.
And it's pretty solid. I mean, Strong's been around for a very long time. So it's pretty reliable. Are you familiar with Strong's?
Yes.
Well, then you know.
Does it matter if it's outdated? If it is,
Well, I'd be happy to see where it's outdated.
if the word there had meant stories or something like that, these are the stories of the creation. Would that make sense in the way that you understand it?
Well, does it?
I'm asking you a hypothetical. Do you understand how those work?
I understand how it works, but it's almost kind of
Fuck.
if it's
This is not a debate. I'm not trying to convince you of anything or teach you anything. I'm not trying to change your mind or prove anything to you. Do you understand that?
right, but at the same time, you're asking me questions like, "What if
If
you were
this, if that, if that. Yeah, they're called hypotheticals. Are you capable of engaging in hypotheticals?
Sure. If it said stories, then I'd have to maybe look at it a different way or see what it was talking about. But
What would it change for you in your interpretation of the chapters? 1, 2, 3, all of the
don't know.
chapters of Genesis.
Usually when I do research on this kind of stuff, I go deep dive into it. I research it out really well because, here's the thing is that we're playing with our souls if we're not going to be serious about it. If it's not true, then I would, just leave it alone. But if it is true, you better have it right. You better learn it well. Because, if it's not true, then people are just wasting their lives believing some BS. Right. And I don't waste my life. I want to live my life to the fullest. I want to live it to the best I can. And that's one of the reasons I follow the scriptures. I believe that is the best way, as God has given us the best way to live our lives and also receive eternal life. If not true, you waste your life.
What is it that verifies to you that the Bible is true?
Well, I mean, there's several incidentals, but I mean, first and foremost, when I realized that when we talk about sin, when we talk about breaking the law, I can recognize in myself wickedness. I can recognize sin. I can recognize that kind of stuff, and that I internally already know that I am not.
What do you mean you recognize that? You recognize sin. What is sin?
Sin is anything that violates the Torah, God's law, statutes.
So you're saying you recognize in you a desire to violate the laws of the Torah.
Right. I more than once violated the laws of the Torah.
I'm going to talk past you for a moment, but it's not to be rude. I need to make sure that I thank Heather's Descent, Eric, Shell, Jace, Everlasting Godstopper, Morgan LaFay, and Kat DeWitch, all for helping with the goal. Thank you guys so much. Really do appreciate you. You say that you have sinned on more than one occasion, violated the laws of the Torah. You recognize in you the capability or the desire to even do so. I'm curious, why do the laws of the Torah matter? Like, could they not have been written in a way that no one would follow them or could follow them on purpose?
Well, so and here again, even Paul talks about that. He goes, those who don't know the Torah, they do what's instinctively right in the Torah. They say, hey, unaliving someone is wrong. They're agreeing with the Torah, and they will be judged by their judgment that lines up with the Torah.
You're saying that their judgment lines up with the Torah, but how do you know that law didn't precede the Torah?
I don't know, other than what it says, brother.
That's not...
So first of all, the Bible talks about itself being true, right? It says, "Thy righteousness is a righteousness forever. Thy Torah is truth." So it either is true or it's not.
Why do you believe that it is true?
Because things like creation, things like the
What do you mean,
archaeological.
what do you mean things like creation?
Right. So I
What
spent.
verifies to you that creation is true? I feel like we've gone full circle here, and all you're doing is either turning questions into questions, or just kind of expressing long-windedly that you desire salvation and it's important. You're not actually answering most of these questions.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not answering. But as far as evolution is concerned, I saw two options: evolution and creation. Now, from everything from a scientific standpoint, like for example, plutonium 218 is one of them, but other things, as far as long ages versus short ages and how would that look, and all the things that we find in the fossil record, and the flood, and all these kind of things, we literally can look at things scientifically and go, they match up with the scriptures. Now, evolution, on the other hand, has a whole different realm of belief systems. Like, for example, everything out of nothing.
I'm sorry, what matches up with the scriptures?
The Bible. As far as creation science.
What? Creation science?
Yeah.
What is creation science?
It's looking at science, the world around us, and seeing if it matches up with the Bible.
So you're saying that the science of looking at the world around us and seeing if it matches up with the Bible matches up with the Bible?
No, I said we look at the world around us using science and see where the Bible touches on certain things. Does it match up? So, for example,
what about the places where it doesn't? Do you just ignore those?
No, I'd like to know about them. If you got
Are you saying you're unaware of places where the world and science doesn't match up with the Bible?
I would love to hear about it. I know none, so.
You know of no place
That?
You know of nothing in science that doesn't match the Bible.
Where it touches on it? No, I don't know the thing yet. You gonna enlighten me on that?
You're saying that in all of your studies of creation science, you're left with no questions about things that could potentially not align with the Bible?
Brother, if it's not something we can
You're
bring
just
out,
fishing. Why the fuck are you up here? Can you even question your beliefs, or are you just fishing for a debate? Because nobody's going to debate you, bud, no matter how fucking hard you try. You're just boring me. You're avoiding the questions. You're wasting my time.
Okay, where the Bible talks.
You can't even question your beliefs. So why are you here?
No, I can't. I'm asking you for evidence that.
You're asking me to give you reasons. Can you question your beliefs?
Absolutely.
Give me an example.
There's nothing. You've not given me anything.
So you can't question your beliefs then? You don't actually have any questions about your beliefs. You assume that they're all true because in all of your confirmation bias-laced research, you've always come up with confirmation.
Just like you believe that you have come up with confirmations about your beliefs, right? Yes or no?
No, bud. No. I host a live where I question beliefs daily.
Well, let's question
I question my beliefs. You can't. You're incapable. You're avoiding it. You came here to debate and prove God or disprove whatever anybody else says. You literally cannot question your beliefs.
Where are we questioning?
Give me an example of something about your beliefs that you actually can question, bud.
Oh, I questioned everything from God's existence to.
What can you question?
I question all the time. That's why I'm good at what I talk about.
What can you question?
I question all things whenever they come up. When there doesn't seem, when I have something, I go, man, that doesn't sound right. I'm going to go into that a little further I have people tell me all the time about stuff that they believe is right when it's actually not. But I go and I check it out and see if they got it right. Do you have anything I can check out?
Does anybody have a question for Bud that they think he'll actually answer? Because I don't see this person as capable of even having a conversation, let alone questioning their own beliefs.
I do not.
No, I don't want to ask him anything.
Can I question your beliefs?
No, not if you're incapable of questioning your own. Wasting my time. If anybody's actually capable of questioning their beliefs, I'm not looking for a fight. I'm not looking for an argument. I'm not going to sit here and give you debate points to start debating. I'm here to see if you are even capable of questioning your beliefs. And if you are, well, then you're welcome to request on up. If you aren't, I guess the only question I would have is why can't you question your beliefs? But our previous guest was too dishonest to even admit that he couldn't.
You were asking logic and accuracy from a Black Hebrew Israelite.
I don't know why you would assume that he was a black Hebrew Israelite.
Yeah, he just said a Hebrew Israelite. And he sounded rather Caucasian, but I didn't want to jump to any conclusions. But the whole two wives in his profile pic was unnerving.
Do Hebrew Israelites do Hebrew Israelites generally anything other than black?
Not. I'm not going to speculate. I don't know. I don't know.
I just I've never heard an actual Jewish person call themselves a Hebrew Israelite.
Yeah, no. I've never heard them use that term either.
It sounded like LARPing to me.
But he believed in, I'm fairly certain he believed in Jesus as well, so he was a Christian. He just...
My question is, why are they so afraid of calling themselves Christians?
I don't know, because Jesus didn't call himself that. I see one of our viewers over on YouTube says that they had so many questions. Well, next time make sure and throw those questions in the chat. I will try to keep up. No promises. I will try to get your questions to our panel if I can.
Are you able to read super chats? Do you get super chats ever on YouTube? I've never heard that.
I don't even know if I...
On your panel.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm capable of super chats yet. I don't know if... I'm fairly certain that's another level of monetization I don't have.
I got it. Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, the YouTube's kind of fledgling. Even though it's been going for a while, I don't have all the bugs worked out. And our audience is awesome over there, but small. And growing.
I don't know why I'm not following you on YouTube. I'm going to fix that right now.
Yeah, anybody else who wants to fix that, of course, the link tree in my bio, or the Batcolyte's bio, has the YouTube, as well as the Discord and a few other things. I don't think we have any believers left. I'm fairly certain. Unless Barfing Toaster has found a belief in the last few days. I don't even think he meant to request that.
How did that happen? I'm sorry, my thumb has a tendency to creep over the edge of my phone case and press the invite button. But thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Do you do you happen to have stumbled across a belief in a god or gods since the last time we talked that you want to hold on to?
I mean, not anything that I'm, subscribing to and believing in, but I have heard a few theories, but yeah, none of them have been more convincing to me than the idea that deities don't exist.
What do you think would compel you to believe?
I think there would have to be sort of a test that anyone can do that always produces a result that indicates that deities or of some kind do exist. But even then, it would not immediately compel me to worship such a deity. There would still have to be something I would want to worship.
And what would you want to worship?
I don't know, actually. I mean, the idea of worship to begin with has always sounded a little strange to me. So I don't know. So that makes me wonder, like, why would what would make me want to worship anything? And that's a really good question. I don't know.
Well, it raises another fairly important question, which is what is worship?
Right. It can be defined in a lot of different ways, right? Like, for some it's prayer, for others it's acting a certain way and wear your hat, It's like there isn't a solid definition of what worship even is. And there's not really a solid definition of why, like, for what reason we even do it.
Hello, Shy. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
I'm 18.
What year were you born?
2007.
Do you have a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that? When you giggle before you do the trolley thing, you go, wait, you're gonna do the trolley thing. Okay, well, the topic of the live is, can you question your beliefs? And if you have a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that, and you're capable of questioning your beliefs, then go ahead and request on up. I'm not here to debate or argue. just to see if you can question. And if you can, then what is it you believe? And why do you believe it?
It looks like the YouTube is frozen. Service unavailable.
Does that because TikTok has gone wild lately? Thank you for that, though. Good catch. Should be coming back. Maybe one of these days I'll get the chat back over there, because they took away the chat. I can't even see that. I mean, I can see YouTube chat, and I can see TikTok chat, but I can't see the TikTok chat. I can't see the TikTok chat on YouTube like we used to. But stick with us, guys. Think you can hear me now.
Yeah, it looks like it's back.
Yeah, it says standby. It says standby, but we should be bring picture back soon. And it looks like Shy would like to come back. We can try. Do you have a belief?
Bro, I don't get how I was laughing.
Okay. So if you're not going to engage in the topic, then I don't need you up here, especially since you're younger than you say you are. I would rather just move on to see if anybody's got a belief in a god or God's higher powers or anything like that. Anything capable of questioning their beliefs. If that does sound like you, just keep watching for a while. Maybe we'll ask the questions that make you think. Getting an echo on YouTube. Okay. There we go. I think we might have fixed everything. Or somebody did. Either way, the YouTube seems to be coming back up, and looks like we got the chat back too. Hell yeah. Now all we need is a believer with a belief in a god or gods, a higher power, or anything like that who's capable of questioning their beliefs. If that sounds like you, go ahead and find your way over to that request button or one of the boxes on the screen. I'm not here to debate or argue. I'm not here to prove you wrong or burgle your god. Although there is always room in the shed for one more, I just want to know if you can question your beliefs, then what is it that you believe? Not just the name of it, but what really is the shape of it? Where does your belief end and your doubt begin? And why do you believe it? Why do you hold to whatever it is that you say that you believe?
I always like to picture your shed of stolen gods as, well, not stolen gods, It's God's storage, really. I always like to picture it as the ghost storage machine in Ghostbusters.
I forget what they call that, the little box.
Yeah. It's been so long since I've seen that movie, but yeah, there's a name for it.
Well, and even then, the box gets plugged into a bigger machine, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Containment unit.
Yeah.
Well, proton packs are just the little backpack thing, and the gun. Well, I'm sorry, the applicator.
Don't cross the streams.
Except when you do.
Have you seen Cyber's cosplay hobby?
No, I have not.
He builds the proton packs and he actually makes the whole thing. Like he's got the guns or the pew-pews and the proton packs, the suits. It's adorable.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. That's awesome. I'll have to check that out. Does he have it on his profile?
Yo, he'll cam up and show you all his gear.
Wow.
It's like everything's replicated. He made one for his wife too, like a whole getup for her too.
There's a lady on here whose name I can't remember who does a live in a Darth helmet costume from Spaceballs.
That's amazing. Well, we're not up here in costume. Well, although I'm not trying to show my face. Except that
Have
one
you seen
time.
Clownfish?
Have we seen what?
Clownfish? It's a man who dresses up as Elvis with clown makeup and sings Elvis songs.
Clownvis. I've not seen Clownvis.
Well, he dresses up as Elvis, except he has clown makeup and he sings Elvis songs.
No, I haven't seen that. I've seen the guy who wears the Star Trek uniform and plays classic rock and improv on a guitar. I've seen that guy. But I think we're getting like very far into what the fuck. It's kind of what the fucking. So if we can, if there's a believer, does anybody believe anymore? Are there believers who believe in God's higher powers or anything like that, who are capable enough, or anything like that, to
Maybe
question their beliefs?
you've released in all of that.
You're getting more muffled. Are the headphones backwards?
One time, headphones were 2 times the headphones were backwards. 2 times. Shut up. Fuck, I can't believe that happened again.
Last time.
Mine just don't fit backwards. They're kind of angled so that they sit comfortably on my ears.
I'm really mad that they were backwards. I can't believe that.
You could like put a piece of tape on one of them, so you know that one's left or right.
I wouldn't look. I wouldn't ever pay enough attention. Here's something interesting that happened to me today. The cat is becoming more like more accepting of being touched almost. He'll almost let me pet him if there's no food involved.
Almost, if there's no food.
Yeah, if there's food involved, I can pet him. But he's almost to the point where he's letting me pet him with no food involved. So that's exciting. My life is really exciting, you guys.
I mean, if that's the level of excitement you have in your life, is that the cat you feed will almost let you pet it without food, then congratulations on multiple levels. It's a layer sandwich.
What do you mean the cat I feed? He's my cat.
Is he really?
No, I'm kind of I'm his mom. The ownership is his, not mine.
I wonder if the cold background is what's been putting guests off. We haven't had very many questioning believers. Maybe it just looks too cold.
Yeah, maybe if you had one that looked warmer and played some samba music, it would be a little easier.
Maybe you should go to the opposite extreme and just put us in a volcano.
And add a fire
I don't have a volcano.
to the...
I have hell.
It's okay, the volcano was erupting yesterday, not today, so.
And I've actually been curious about this.
I didn't get to find out what you were going to tell us last night because I got raptured.
Oh, I haven't finished that. Everything got raptured.
Oh, did it?
The entire live got raptured. It went wild. TikTok got raptured. Yeah.
Oh.
The whole, yeah. There was a whole thing.
Oh, okay. I feel better about getting raptured then.
Yeah. You actually were in purgatory with us because I couldn't end the live or drop anybody from the panel or even communicate with the audience for nearly an hour.
Oh, wow.
But we were stuck.
Yeah, my entire internet, and so I just I put on an audiobook that I had downloaded on my phone and just went to sleep. But
it was weird is like it hadn't started storming here yet, so I didn't think it was the weather, but I don't know what it was.
So what's funny about that is that so my phone service sends me a text and tells me what date it's gonna cut off, and then it always cuts off the night before the date it says, probably because I'm so far behind, but I always forget that. So my phone service cut off right then too, which is what I thought happened just to me. But my phone service had cut off, so I didn't know when it came back because I didn't pay the bill till today. So that's interesting that all happened as a storm together.
else is interesting. Questioning beliefs. And if you happen to have a belief in a god or gods, a higher power, or anything like that, and you're capable of questioning that belief, then go ahead and request on up. I'm not here to debate or argue. I'm not here to burgle or shame you. I'm not even here to fight or contend. I just want to know if you can question your beliefs.
Did you see what I said earlier about curly fries being God?
Why would curly fries be God?
Because I was eating curly fries at the time and they were pretty good. Divine, you might say.
So in that moment, they were God.
In that moment, they were God. Yeah, I really like curly fries.
Well, why would you use the word God?
Because they were divine.
Okay, well then, forcing my hand.
So, did they? I'm just
I did
curious.
that
At
on
what
purpose.
point? At what point did they cease being gods? Did they continue to be gods all the way through your digestive system,
I
or?
don't know, it wasn't that much earlier, so I don't know yet. Divine is, fuck, I did look this up one time, and I don't remember what it was. I think it was something like being of God, godlike, in the nature of God, divinity.
I think I share Kat's belief that curly fries are divine. Um, maybe I can't have anything straight now anymore. I don't know. I just prefer curly fries.
I also prefer curly fries, but that was a really good. That was really funny.
I do think that Jack in the Box curly fries are better than Arby's.
Yeah, I probably
Oh,
probably
no
can
doubt.
content is like but you know what, my Jack in the Box is the like least busy but also the slowest Jack in the Box on the planet. I also believe that this is the slowest Jack in the Box on the planet and that you will die waiting for your curly fries.
Oh, it worked.
So if you have a better belief than the divinity of curly fries, request up. I tried Thrayle, but apparently he didn't like
And then
that.
the Wi-Fi swallowed you up. Yeah, we tried.
Good. Apparently, the divinity of curly fries is not a good enough belief, you guys. So if you have a real one,
Divinity. Yeah, I'm still not clear on what divinity is. Did we lose the music entirely?
Yeah, I think so.
The belief in curly fries might not be worthy of the topic right now, but I'm going through the resurrection of Jesus right now, and there's apparently a lot of contradictions. Trying to find more contradictions in the Bible. Which is, besides Genesis, which is your favorite contradiction, Thrayle?
Um, I mean, the lack of zombies in 3 of the Gospels is kind of a big one.
Unalived family members walking around.
Oh, of course that track works.
What the fuck are you talking about? Like, what is this?
I'm for it.
Smoking.
If you want to get down and jazzy with your beliefs, the invite button's right there. Hit the request and join up for a question your beliefs. I'm down with this music though, damn.
Somebody stop me.
Hey, I'm not mad at it.
Down for the beat, down for the beliefs.
I don't know. Gene Krupa on a drum machine isn't the same.
Oh, damn.
Having a non-stop jazzy background would make me feel like I was just sitting in a club at the Prohibition era or something.
Right. Might get a little dizzying after a while. But I did like it. Now I know where it is.
Save it
You
for
could
next time. It's a great beat. I like it.
This is what happens absent believers.
you could play the old tapes of Buddy Rich yelling at his band.